final question. I'll ask Murray Watt first of all. One of the strategies that has caused a lot of comment, Murray, over the past couple of years has been that of the control body acquiring equity in race club assets. Will such a policy remain?
Yes, it will. Under our government, that's a strategy that we're content to see occur. And again, I suppose it gets back to what I was saying earlier about what we see as the role of government. We believe that these kind of arrangements that are being entered into between RQL and clubs are private commercial arrangements between those clubs. We don't think that that's something that the government needs to get involved in. We have confidence that the clubs have the capacity to undertake those negotiations with their own interests at heart, and it's not for us to get in there and sort of say what can or cannot be done. I think it's important to remember that the government funding, that $110 million that's been provided to RQL, that's not a straight out grant. RQL is legally accountable to taxpayers for how that money is spent. And I don't think that any business would be expected to hand over millions of dollars to another organisation without seeking some kind of security for that investment. I wouldn't do that, you probably wouldn't do that, and I think it's reasonable for RQL to similarly take that approach. And again, I am aware that a number of clubs have already expressed that they're quite content with those arrangements, and people may have seen some of the remarks that Justin Doyle from Rockhampton made in a letter to the editor of the Courier Mail, I think in the last few days, certainly recently anyway, expressing his club's contentment with what has occurred, and that's being seen in other clubs around Queensland. So we believe that strategy should remain in place, or more importantly, that it's a private commercial matter for those parties to resolve.
Thank you, Murray. Tim, from the point of view of the LNP, do you agree with the control body taking an asset base in clubs?
No, we don't.
All right, so
we think that what's happened systematically is that that the clubs have been marginalised over a period of time. They've really been left with very little choice in terms of the grants that have been made to them or the funds that have been made available to them. We know that there is a considerable degree of concern that there are issues around the control body having an interest in a facility, particularly when that control body also has the power to allocate race days and prize money, and we believe that that is a significant concern. We believe the best way to resolve that concern is to remove the requirement or the obligation for clubs to transfer ownership to the control body, and that's very clearly our view. That is in the best interests of the industries involved and provides a clear demarcation and resolves the issues about conflict of interest.
Well, if the control bodies are split into three under the LNP, for the control body in charge of thoroughbred racing, what happens to the assets the control body now currently has in place?
Yeah. Obviously, if that occurs, and again, if we are fortunate enough to secure the support of the people of Queensland, we will have to deal with those assets that are currently held. I think that in that sense, we would need to go back and seek some expert advice about the best way for that position to be resolved. Now, whether that involves a divestment back to those clubs, and that has obviously got some financial implications to it, and whether that can be done, or whether there is some way that we can move the ownership away from the control bodies and into a separate and discrete but non-involved organisation to hold those assets while we work out what to do with them, I think would be the way that we would go. But we would again look to the best way of getting rid of those interests out of the hands of the control bodies to resolve that conflict of interest issue.
All right, and just finally, I'll ask yourself, Tim, if you would like to just sum up for the group here tonight from the owners, and then I'll ask Murray as well from the government's point of view, any points you would like to make as far as the industry is and its ongoing livelihood.
Well, thanks, John, and I would like to thank the organisation for the opportunity to say a few words and to participate here, because I realise that I'm probably a new face to many of you, and you want to know a little bit more about what's going on, what our plans are. Can I say to you that we have a very strong commitment and have maintained a very strong commitment over a large number of years in the LNP and our predecessor parties to supporting the racing industry, to supporting it in regional and country Queensland as well as in the metropolitan areas. My own commitment as the member for an electorate that has both of the major metropolitan racing courses and Albion Park and a a large industry of constituents who are owners, trainers, strappers and farriers is total, and we want to see this industry grow. We want to give it every opportunity to grow, support and prosper so that you and the people that rely on what you are doing and your investment can continue to prosper, because we also know that the racing industry is essentially an industry of small business, and we want to support small business in the best way we can.
Thank you, Tim. Murray, I'll ask you to sum up your perspective from the government.
Sure, thanks John, and again thank you for the opportunity to come along and speak with you tonight. I echo Tim's comments that obviously we don't have a vibrant racing industry in Queensland without the interests of horse owners being represented, and I want to congratulate your association for organising tonight's forum. I think in the end we share the association's goal of seeing a vibrant, prosperous racing industry in Queensland. I'm aware that at different times we may differ about how that can best be met. We've taken various decisions which have really been aimed at ensuring that the industry does have a sustainable future and can continue to provide employment and enjoyment for people right around Queensland. So we're very keen to keep working with the industry. We're very hopeful that the infrastructure investment that we've made will really see some real revitalisation of tracks right throughout Queensland, put the industry on a sustainable footing into the future, and ensure that people do want to continue punting in Queensland rather than having to go to other states, and that would be for all of our benefit. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here tonight, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Murray. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please thank our guests tonight? Member for Everton, Mr. Murray Watt, representing the Minister for Racing, Tim Mulheron, and the Deputy Leader of the Opposition and the Shadow Minister for Racing, Tim Nichols. Would you show your applause for both of our representatives tonight?